Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 15 tight end rankings for week 8. Richard, you ready?
Let's do it.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
All right, before we get started, Richard, give me a recap on last week.
Okay, last week, if we take out Darren Waller, who did not play, we hit on 9 of our 14 tight ends, which is boom, 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 very good considering how difficult it is to nail down the top tight ends. We did excellent. It's funny, we got a message. One of our viewers wrote down that these are like horrible rankings, and we did excellent. And they were very upset that we had Njoku at number 9. We should have had him in the top 5. He ended up being like number 7 in standard leagues, I believe, number 7, number 8. So we had him just about right. And guess what? He's going to be out for 2 to 5 weeks. It's the jinx. I love it when people, own a player, and then when we don't rank them high, they're all upset. And it's usually guys that are middling or not, how dare you? How dare you rank Evan Engram at number 15? Come on.
All right, well, let's see who complains this week. All right, before we get started in this week's video, let me just explain what you should expect. Richard's going to give his rankings. I'm going to use the stat machine to see if you agree or disagree with each of his rankings, and we hope the stats will help you with your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
Number 1, we're going to stick with Mark Andrews, who had a pitiful game. He might not be 100%. He isn't 100%. Lamar Jackson, I don't know what's going on there. Hasn't been passing the ball much. And number 2, George Kittle at the LA Rams. Kittle's been on fire. He's warming up. Let's stick with him. And number 3, Taysom Hill, home against Las Vegas. Taysom Hill did what he does almost every week now, scored another touchdown. And number 4, Zach Ertz at Minnesota. Zach Ertz had a bad game in week 7, but we expect him to rebound in week 8. Yes, DeAndre Hopkins is back, and we saw he is a target monster. Kyler Murray loves Hopkins, but Zach Ertz is in that mix. And number 5, Dallas Goedert, who will be home against Pittsburgh. Goddard, we like him because he's in that awesome offense, that Philadelphia offense. Yes, Hurts most of the time doesn't pass for much, but when he does, it's for touchdowns. Hence, we like Dallas Goedert. And number 6, TJ Hawkinson, home against Miami. Hawkinson didn't have a great week, barely made that top 15 in week 7. We expect him to rebound in week 8. A lot of injuries to the Lions and the receiving core. Amon-Ra St. Brown should play, and he should have most of the targets, but I think there will be targets for Hawkinson. And the Dolphins have a lot of injuries in their secondary. And number 7, Pat Freiermuth at Philadelphia. It's a tough matchup. Pickett did not look good Sunday night, but Freiermuth has been steady all season. And what do rookie quarterbacks that are having issues reading the field do? They rely on the safety blanket. They rely on their tight end. So I think Freiermuth is going to have a decent day. And number 8, Tyler Higbee, home against San Francisco. Higbee's been solid. There's nothing special about Higbee, but he's been solid all season. Stafford has been looking his way, so we will put him here.
Hold on, I got a question. Do you think Higbee's going to score this week? He hasn't scored all season. What's your thoughts?
He's due to score. Hasn't scored yet. Is due to score. Here's a guy who would not have been a top 15 tight end to begin the season and now is, because he's produced without scoring touchdowns. So add a touchdown, it's going to look nice. And number 9, Dalton Schultz, home against Chicago. Dak Prescott is back. Didn't light it up in week 7. We think he's going to get better in week 8. He was looking Dalton Schultz way, though, as expected. And number 10, Hayden Hurst at Cleveland. Big Red on that offense where Joe Burrow is going nuts. So we got to put him in here. He's, a 4th option, 5th option, but it doesn't matter. You get the crumbs in that offense. It'll amount to touchdowns, yardage. And number 11, Mike Gesicki at Detroit. We love the matchup. We understand Gesicki's he's going to have a good game here and there. It's not going to be consistent, but his upside. I like the upside. And number 12, Dawson Knox, home against Green Bay. Another upside tight end. He's in that dynamic Buffalo offense. His production has been sporadic, but there will be touchdowns. Josh Allen will pass for touchdowns. And number 13, Evan Engram, home against Denver. Denver's a tough defensive matchup, but Engram is getting a lot of targets, a lot of looks from Trevor Lawrence. So we have to respect that. And number 14, Kyle Pitts, home against Carolina. And this is pitiful. Kyle Pitts hanging by a thread, might not be in our top 15 any longer, even when healthy. Mariota's not passing the ball. London's not getting it. Pitts is not getting it. He's too good. You would think we're going to give him one more chance. Number 15, Darren Waller at New Orleans. And Darren Waller is much better than 15, but we don't know how healthy he is. We don't know if he's going to play. We'll put him down for a guy that's going to come play, maybe hurt, not get as many snaps as usual, but he'll still be able to make a big play.
All right, let's just take a look at some other rankings. The biggest one I see is some people have Kyle Pitts ranked 8th, and you got him at 14. What gives?
Well, Kyle Pitts hasn't done anything all season. He caught a touchdown pass, one, I believe, a couple of weeks ago. That's about it. You know, he's been bad.
Let's move on. Mike Gesicki. Some people don't even have him ranked this week. You got him ranked 11th.
You gotta love that Detroit matchup. And did everybody already forget what he did in Minnesota or against Minnesota?
I didn't forget. 2 touchdowns. All right. Thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 15 tight end rankings for week 8. Any parting words for everybody out there? Stick with it. It's the long haul.
Get what you give. Love your fantasy team.
Those fantasy good fellas.
The ruling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.